Hi guys, I'm Kim and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. I'm here with some exciting news to tell you. If you can't already tell by the title of this video, we're having a baby. Oh my god, it's so exciting to actually be able to come out and say that. As of today, I am currently 13 weeks and 5 days pregnant. So oh my god, sorry, I'm just like a bit overwhelmed and excited to be sitting here making this video. So for those of you who have followed our journey, you will know that we had a loss back in June, July that ended in a D&C, and that after that I had an extremely long cycle and wasn't sure whether I was going to ovulate or not, but I did finally ovulate on day 51 of my cycle, which was the first cycle after the loss. So yeah, I'm just going to share a little bit of how we found out we were pregnant and how I told my husband. When I'm going to let you know the gender of our baby, because yes, we're those people and we had to find out. And I'm going to let you know a little bit about how my first trimester went and yeah, all of that stuff. So if that interests you, then keep on watching. If you watched my video of, I think my part 2 of my trying to conceive journey of a long cycle, you will know that I got a mirror and identified that I ovulated on day 51 of my cycle. Okay, so from day 51, I think on like day 53 or 54, my husband and I were off on a trip to Melbourne for a week. So it actually made the 2-week wait really easy because we were on holiday. It was easy, you know, it was stress-free. I wasn't like anxious and stuff like that, but just to play it safe, I didn't drink or anything like that on the trip. So when we got back, I think it was about 8 days past ovulation, and I decided to take a pregnancy test at 9 days past ovulation just to see. So I took the test at 9 days and it came back with like one of those like real squintery kind of tests where you couldn't really tell and you thought your eyes were just seeing things because it's something that you wanted so bad. So I kind of just went, put it aside and thought I'll test again on day 10. And then the next morning I got up and tested on day 10 and I got this. So that was obviously very exciting to actually see the word pregnant again. So yes, at this stage my husband was still asleep in bed. So back when we had the original loss, I knew we were going to try again because we really did want to start a family, obviously. So I had purchased a couple of Port Power items, which is my husband's favorite football team, to hopefully be able to one day tell him that we were pregnant again. Anyway, on the kitchen counter, I set up this cute little guy, little Port Power teddy bear with my first teddy, and I had this nestled cutely sitting there in his lap. So when he got up, he came out and he saw that. So I did plan on trying to film it, but it just didn't happen that way. But needless to say, he was very excited, as was I. But yes, so then we made our first appointment because even though I felt like I knew my ovulation date, it had been such a long cycle and it was the first cycle since the loss that they actually wanted to do a dating scan at what we thought was going to be about the 6-week mark. So went to the doctor, got all that paperwork sorted, booked that in, went on what was meant to be the 6th week, like exactly, and we got to the appointment, did everything, and obviously I was feeling like ridiculously nervous, as you can imagine. Regardless of whether you've had a loss or not, it's always like super nerve-wracking going for that first scan, because you just don't know what to expect, or you know, whether it's real. So they did the scan, and they found the tiny little thing. I will put a picture up on the screen of our 6-week scan. So the baby was actually measuring 5 weeks and 5 days, and it had a heartbeat of 101, which they said was slightly on the low side, but not to worry, because its heart had only just started beating. So that was like a huge relief to know that it had a heartbeat, and it was there, it was real, it was in my uterus, it was where it should be, and yeah, it's just like super exciting. So I went back to the doctor, you know, it was all good, and then we were told to book in a 12-week scan, and we were given all the paper for the Harmony NIPT test to find out, you know, do all the genetic testing and to find out the gender. So that was all really exciting. And then at about 8.5 weeks, I went to the bathroom and had like a little bit of spotting. And obviously I got like quite nervous about that, because you know, that's sort of how it started last time. So I called the hospital, explained to them what was going on, and let them know that I'd been to the toilet a few times that day, and I had had a little bit of blood both times. And they said, look, it doesn't sound like anything you need to be worried about, but we understand your concerns. They said you can either come into the hospital now and you can sit in the waiting room, and we will see you when we can, but you could be there till all hours of the morning. So at this stage, when we made that phone call, it was about 7 o'clock in the evening, and we decided that we didn't want to sit in a waiting room for potentially hours on end and not get home till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So we then made an appointment with the hospital to go get a scan a few days later. So I had that appointment all booked in, and during, I think it was about 3 days between calling the hospital and actually getting a proper appointment booked in. And during that time, I had a couple more days where I had like really minor spotting. Like it wasn't on my underwear or soaking through or anything like that. It was just like tiny little bits in my cervical mucus. Sorry for the information. So yes, was still feeling a little bit nervous. So I went to that appointment, and my husband was unable to come to that appointment, which was a little bit sad. So I was already nervous, and you know, on top of it all, I was by myself, but I'd opted not to tell anyone else because I didn't want to share with other people that something may be going wrong again. Anyway, went in for that scan. They did the check, and the moment she started doing the scan, oh, actually, rewind. They tried to do it externally first, but they couldn't find anything. So obviously, like, had a little bit of a moment and a freak out and thought, oh, here we go again. So they ended up doing a transvaginal one. And so I was 9 weeks at this stage. And the moment she put the like probe thing in, there it was straight away. Looked like a baby. Like it actually looked like a tiny little baby. So I started like ugly crying because everything was fine. It had a heartbeat. It was moving around, it was wriggling, it was measuring, I think 2 days ahead at that point. So I thought I was, 8 weeks and 6 days, and I was measuring 9 weeks and 1 day. And she said that everything looked fine, and that what I was experiencing was just completely normal, but it was good that I'd come in to get it checked considering what had previously happened. So I was just like absolutely over the moon, and she took some pictures for me, and she did this cute little scan, which I'll put up, which was a little scan and it had "Hi Daddy" on it, so I could show it to my husband. And it was just like really, really special to be able to see it there again and know that everything was okay. So as I'm sure you can imagine, I was ecstatic to know that everything was fine. So after this, I went ahead and booked my 10-week harmony test to find out the gender and also the risk level for like all the syndromes, and I can't remember what they're all called. I'm sorry. You'll know what I'm talking about though. So went and had that blood test the following week, and we were told that the results would take between, I think, 5 to 10 business days. And this was like, I think like December the 10th, or no, maybe the 12th, December 12th. So I was kind of eager to get the results before Christmas because we really wanted, obviously, to hear good news and know that we had a healthy little baby, but we really, really, really wanted to share the gender with our family on Christmas Day. And I'd read lots of forums and stuff where people had said it had taken the full 10 days, it had taken, and this is business days, or it had taken 5 days, or they had to wait like a week, you know, all these stories in between. And in the meantime, I'd also had other blood tests as well. And then, so I had the test on a Monday, and I got a phone call on the Wednesday from my doctor, and left a voicemail because I was in an appointment and I'm unable to answer it. And it was like, oh, this is Dr. Blah Blah from the medical center. Can you please give me a call when you get a moment? And I'm like, oh, like my heart sunk. Like, I know in my head, I've always thought no news is good news. So to be left a voicemail like that from previous experiences, it had never been good. So when I got out of my appointment, I called up the doctor's surgery, and I got put through the doctor, and he was like, I just wanted to know, let you know that I got your harmony results back. And I'm like, what? Already? Like, I honestly was not expecting it to be back that quickly. And he's like, I just want to let you know that everything looks good, everything came back low risk, and I have the gender of your baby. And I'd always kind of envisioned being with my husband when we found out the gender. And I was like, he goes, what do you want to do? He's like, do you want me to put it in an envelope and you can come over and pick it up? But my doctor's surgery is about half an hour away. He goes, or I can just tell you over the phone. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it was the week before Christmas, or a couple of weeks. I can't remember, 12, 13, 15. It was the 15th. So it was like 10 days before Christmas. And I just knew how much stuff I had planned and things that I had to do. So I was like, nope. Just tell it to me and I will tell my husband. And he goes to me, you're having a little boy. And I just started crying because I was so happy that A, the tests had come back okay, and also that I knew we were having a little boy. But I was also shocked at the same time because the whole time my husband and I had honestly thought we were having a girl. Like, we just had this feeling and we thought it was a girl, and to hear it was a boy, we were just really taken back. So I came home and I parked the car and I ran inside, and I met my husband in the hallway, and I had tears in my eyes, and he's like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? And I'm like, I got the results back. I was like, everything's okay and we're having a little boy. And it was just it was all very, very emotional and exciting. But that night we went straight online and we purchased some cute little discs that say it's a boy, to give to family members for Christmas. So yes, so that's how we found out the gender of our baby. And then we had the 12-week scan booked in for the 23rd of December. Now that was exactly 12 weeks. So everyone is like, did you book it that way just so you knew before Christmas? No, that's not what happened. It just turned out that way. And we booked it in and we had that scan and everything looked great. So I swear we saw the little guy waving at us. He was like, I don't know whether he actually was or not, but it totally felt like it. And it was just really exciting and special to see him just there wriggling around on the screen. So I will put a picture in at the moment of that scan. But yes, so that is kind of where we are at right now. Having a little boy, and all the tests and results are looking really, really good. And we are due in July. So early July, we are due. So we're very, very excited. I'm super excited to be having a winter baby because, I think being pregnant, heavily pregnant in summer would absolutely suck. I'm sure there is many of you out there who have been through that, and I'm sure it's not a very pleasant experience. But yes, so that is kind of how we found out, all the tests, the results and stuff like that. And I'm just going to really quickly touch on the first trimester as an overview of how I've been feeling and, what's going on. So to start with, I feel like I was quite fortunate. I have not actually physically been sick. I haven't thrown up. I felt nauseous from about weeks 5 all the way through to about 13. So still getting some slight nausea in the afternoons, but not too bad. Nothing I can't handle, nothing I've had medication for. It's just that overwhelming, icky feeling that I get, and then it passes. And I found that isopols, Super Duper specifically, I've been getting the sugar-free ones, seem to help alleviate that kind of nausea feeling for me. Let me know whether or not you had something weird that helped you, if you were suffering from morning sickness at all. Not that mine was bad, please. When I say suffering from morning sickness, I feel like I've been really, really fortunate. But the one thing that I have really, really struggled with is constant fatigue, just complete exhaustion all the time. I can get 8 hours sleep, I can get 10 hours sleep, I can get 12 hours sleep, and I wake up feeling wrecked. And then I can have a nap and I still feel exhausted. I know people have told me before that pregnancy fatigue is hard, but wow, it's really hard. So I think that's what I've struggled with the most, is just having the energy levels to actually do anything. This is probably the first week that I've had where I feel slightly more elevated, but having said that, still exhausted. So hopefully it starts to settle for me in a few weeks, because I do hear that, by the time the third trimester comes around, it all kicks off again and you just feel exhausted again. So fingers crossed I get a little bit of a break. Other things is I've been ridiculously thirsty. I was always good at staying hydrated, but I drink so much more water than I used to now. My skin has been so dry. I cannot get enough moisture on it, and it just does not stay hydrated at all. My face just constantly feels tight and I cannot get it to stay hydrated. I think my hair feels like it's changed a little bit, maybe a little bit more coarse. I don't know whether that's a thing. What else is there? I've been getting, which I'm sure is normal, just some mild cramping and stretching. I've been getting a little bit of backaches, and also a few headaches, but nothing bad at all. Just more, cramps, fatigue, slight nausea, no real food cravings or food aversions or anything like that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So yeah, very, very, very excited to finally be putting it out there and to be able to share with you that we're pregnant. And yeah, like I said, we're due in July 2023. And the reason I haven't posted any videos for the last month is because I've just been so exhausted and haven't had the energy to sit down and film, let alone edit. But yes, so thank you for watching this video if you got to where you are. I will be sure to post more content around my pregnancy journey and bits and pieces. Maybe I'll do a nursery tour, I don't know, let me know if there's anything in particular that you would like to know or see in regards to, yeah, my pregnancy journey so far. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that little bell. That way you'll get notified of my videos in the future. Until next time, bye guys.